Hey guys, Moldy Fishsticks here, and this is going to be a summary of the entire story of Modern Warfare 2. So if you want to avoid spoilers and go into this with an unbiased and fresh mind, I highly recommend for you to check out my spoiler-free review. I go into the gameplay aspects of the game and some missions that I liked, while not spoiling a single aspect of the story plot. But this will be my first and last spoiler warning for this video, so don't say I didn't warn you. Spoilers start now. Ghost is alive! You know what? Let's start from the start. That's a pretty good idea. Modern Warfare 2 released on the 20th of this month, 2022, and has the plotline of a 2-year-old. Okay, maybe that's a bit harsh, but honestly, the first time I played through this game, I somewhat paid attention to this story, but after revisiting it, I only then realized how silly the whole plotline was. But it's not hard for you to gloss over the narrative with this game, because the gameplay sides of things and the amount of new stuff they added in really blow you away, and you kind of forget what's really being said in the story. But without further ado, let's get right into what makes this story kind of incoherent. The opening mission starts in Al Mazrah. In classic Call of Duty fashion, you start right into the action as Simon Ghost Riley, a returning character from the OG Modern Warfare 2, if you don't count the 2019 Battle Pass, who had a not so pleasant ending in the OG, but we don't talk about that. Your job is to track down General Kabrani before marking him and blowing him to smithereens with a direct impact. You find out that the Russians are supplying Iran in an arms deal, and several months later, Laswell has a meeting with the cunt General Shepard, another returning character who also died in Modern Warfare 2019, for good reasons, the fucking cunt. You come to realize this dude called Hassan has taken up the mantle for Iran and is now supplying the terrorists, planning for a retaliation for the Kabrani strike, so Ghost has to return back to Al Mazrah, this time accompanied by Soap McTavish to lead a special operations unit to capture Hassan, dead or alive, although they'd rather Hassan alive for interrogation. Just when you dropped off, the helicopter gets shot down by a missile and goes down, and Soap wants to go to the crash site immediately to check and see if everyone's alive. However, Ghost is adamant to search the buildings for Hassan first, then get to the crash site. They end up meeting in the middle as they check one group of structures for Hassan first. You find a propaganda video of Hassan saying the perpetrators must be executed for the killing of Kabrani for the world to witness, but you make your way to secure the crash site to help the wounded before being ambushed by the enemy and having to hold your position. At the end of the onslaught, you continue to search into the final buildings to find Hassan has literally just left. They used you as bait to sneak him away. It's here that Ghost simply says that we lost him while securing the crash site, saying if we didn't do that, we would have found Hassan, and choices have consequences. Even if you were trying to help the injured at the crash site, it meant Hassan slipped away. What I like about this opening mission and the shift in narrative for the recent Modern Warfare series as a whole is how it doesn't glorify warfare. You're not going to be able to be the hero in two places at once, and sometimes you need to make choices that matter in the long run. They only save one injured person who survived the crash site, and the rest died. And while that would seem worth it for some, this whole operation would have ended by this mission if they left the crash site until last and captured Hassan, saving countless more lives in the future. But as you continue your search, you come across a warehouse where you find out that Hassan has missiles. Not only missiles, but American missiles. This is already a great setup, and right off the bat, this completely hooks you in. Sense of threat, smart and deceptive antagonist, and fucking amazing gameplay. However, it's after this that everyone must have said fuck it, good job boys, and taken a hit of some wacky backy, because everyone's brain cells shift to negative digits. Laswell says they want to have the DNA analysed of the missile to see who has touched or breathed on it, and Shepard said he doesn't care. Okay, Shepard, I know you. I remember you, bitch. Don't lie to me. They talk about how they're going to find the missiles, and Laswell has a plan to find the perpetrator of this preposterous crime. Amsterdam. And what are the links between this missile and Amsterdam? What are the links? Nothing. She says Amsterdam like, holy shit, I just realized it, only to say that there's Al-Qaeda in Amsterdam. Bitch, there's Al-Qaeda everywhere, you buffoon. Oh, fuck, by the way, guys, some redhead ran into my room and took my burger, but they were too fast for me to track them down. Who could it... Wait. Red hair? It must be Ronald McDonald, you fuck. But nevertheless, Price and Gaz head to Amsterdam to enter their first stealth mission in this game. And when you make it to the boat, you find out Hassan's working with the cartel, and you take some random's phone to find out that the Al-Qaeda is meeting with the cartel in 1 hour. And to be honest, this mission was kind of a letdown because the stealth felt a little janky, and here's where I found out the throwing knife was a little too overpowered for the campaign. But also, this mission was way too short. That was it. You just go in and enter the boat, and I was questioning, are all of these missions this short? But funnily enough, it's just the beginning, which was strange. But anyway, you take the spot of whoever's phone you stole's date, and I need to say, I like these outdoor areas where you pretend to be a normal civilian and shit goes down Gangnam style. But this one was kinda weird and short-lived. You start stabbing people in the stomach in broad daylight and no one gives a fuck. Even though I accidentally whipped out my gun for like 1 second and people started freaking the fuck out, jumping over each other, calling their parents. And this could have been executed stealthily. Like, why not just give him a pat on the back with a syringe up your sleeves like Ezio? I'm sure there was a way to do it more subtly than giving him a fucking shiv in the middle of a busy sidewalk. But yeah, you head in, you set up a decoy grenade and take out 2 cartel, shoot 3 more, and then that's done. Mission done. Well, that was short as fuck as well. But what's strange is you leave him sleeping in the back seat, unrestrained, sitting next to Gaz, on his right, who's right-handed. Maybe the right-handed thing is reading too much into the situation, but if you're going for realism, this has completely failed. Like, what if he wakes up, because generally people who do a lot of drugs usually have a higher tolerance to other drugs that knock you out, and yeah, I'm saying that because his cartel. I'd join for the white snow myself. Why else would I join? Laswell now informs Alejandro, a new character, that Hassan will be smuggled into the US from the Mexican border, and it's here that Vargas tells Laswell that that would be stupid for a terrorist to do, which is a pretty fair point, but Laswell has a really good rebuttal.
Laswell, terrorists don't cross the southern border.
We know that, and they know that, and that is exactly why they're going to do it.
We know that, and they know that, and that's exactly why they're going to do it. Now, granted, on the surface, this statement might not seem that coherent, but this actually really makes sense when you think about it. You see, Ronald McDonald knows he can't just open my front door, walk into my room, and take my hamburger, right? That's the hamburger's job, silly banana, but since I didn't know that, and he knows that, that's exactly why he did it. Get Sun Tzu'd, bitch. Vargas teams up with Rudolfo, to operate this mission and find out Hassan is using the migrants as a diversion to cover his tracks, but makes it over the border at the very, very start of the mission. So Vargas is determined to follow. Obviously, this is his mission, but it's here Laswell tells Vargas that he has no jurisdiction in this area. Okay, so why hire him? Why hire him for a fucking border jumping terrorist when he can't fucking jump the border himself? But Vargas is one giant leap ahead because he knew that he couldn't jump the border and Hassan knew that he could. Now, not gonna lie, no cap, my brochicho, this mission was actually not that bad. There are some really, really well designed areas and some more cool close quarter combat. I really like how the back alleyways were designed here. Whoever was the lead level designer for Infinity Ward deserves a fucking medal to make this game look as good as it is. There's a big difference between making a game look real graphically and making a game look environmentally and spaciously real. It's probably the sole reason I was blown away by the campaign on my first playthrough. You eventually get stopped by the police who assume that you're border jumpers, but the situation de-escalates when the chief notices you're with Laswell. However, an RPG gets sent right into the middle of 2 vehicles and blows you all back. Yeah, you somehow survive an RPG shot 5 meters away from you alongside 2 other cars that exploded and just continue your search for Hassan unscathed. You and Rodolfo eventually split up, but Rodolfo crosses paths with Hassan, and Hassan leaves him there to burn just like Cabrani did, but Cabrani didn't burn. He got turned into Heinz beef chunks. But Alejandro comes back to save the day. Now Hassan is back in Las Almas, so how? Doesn't the US have border patrol? Laswell confirms that Hassan is transporting something into the US, so Shepard informs informs Graves to head a unit into Los Alamos, leading Alejandros, Soap, and Ghost into Mexico. They take a ride to see the crime-ridden street of Mexico, and my god, did I mention how good these cutscenes were? I wasn't even recording on the highest graphics, because every time I play and then record at 4K at the same time, my computer has an aneurysm. But it's here Alejandro describes himself as a cowboy who will die for Mexico rather than joining the military who have been corrupted by the cartel. This mission kind of reminded me of Hornet's Nest from the 2009 Modern Warfare 2 in a way, and this is by far one of my favourite missions in the campaign, based on the level design and landscape as a whole. You fight your way inside the buildings and Soap asks Alejandro about his family, but he wants to keep it a secret to protect them. I mean, like, you know, fair enough. When you grab your intel, you get incoming enemies, the Mexican army, and this is where shit gets real. Armored soldiers from here on out, riot shields, it's safe to say these ain't no cartel anymore. So you and your whole squad make a run for it and scale across the mountainsides to make it down to a river and eventually evacuate. Graves is introduced for the first time in a cutscene now, and gotta say, this guy's a prick right off the bat, but by far the best newly introduced actor in this reboot so far. He advises Shepard that he has a hit on Hassan and your team is moving in on the position now. And upcoming is a gunship mission where you escort Ghost, Alejandro, and Soap to Hassan's position, and hot damn, this was by far one of the most, if not the best gunship missions in any game I have played. I mean just look at this shit. Look at this shit. Like I mentioned in my spoiler-free review, the destruction of buildings have not been present quite like this in COD campaigns so far. Hassan can be seen running away like a little bitch, but Price tells him to get the fuck down and jackpot. Hassan is now in your hands. But you still need to protect them until they're able to evacuate. Banger mission right off the bat. Graves sets up a Twitch stream with his two viewers watching, Laswell and Shepard, and the interrogation pursues. Soap wants to know who gave them the missiles, but Shepard doesn't care about who, and only wants to know where they are going. What the fuck? How has no one turned to him and raised an eyebrow? How many alarm bells can be ringing in your ear before you realize history repeats itself? Shepard concludes that without proof they need to turn him loose and see where he leads them. What the fuck? You've literally been on a wild goose chase with this man for days, and now you just decide, actually, you know what, fuck, my bad, guys. This is out of our jurisdiction. What about all the men that you killed to get to him? But Ghost is a smart man and slips a little something into his pocket. But no matter, Laswell hacked his phone and found out his phone went through the coast of Spain, and find that someone Hassan was communicating with is tracked to a hatchery used as a smuggling front by the cartel. But although the story elements keep getting worse, it seems from here the gameplay sides of things just keep on getting better. And here's where I thought, did they just focus heavily on map design and versatile gameplay in each area, then make up some bullshit reason to go there? Because if you play this game and skipped all of the cutscenes, you would probably be like, my god, this is perfect. But now you're in Spain, and this sniper section reminds me of All Gillied Up in strong ways. Granted, it's not as long or as cool, it had spectacular visuals and a completely different way of moving through the map. You also get some dialogue options between you and Laswell or you and Price that I honestly didn't expect, and I thought it was a cool touch, because there were long areas where you were just walking to your next destination. At some points you actually learn fun facts about things, and whatever weapon you say that you like to Laswell, for instance I said sniper because I was using a sniper rifle, Laswell told me about the origin of the word sniper. Apparently in the 1770s among British soldiers, whoever was skilled enough to kill the elusive snipe, which was a bird, was dubbed a sniper. Hey man, I didn't know that. And I don't mind that I now know that. That's pretty cool, that's pretty nice. You make your way to a massive compound where you're tasked with taking out enemies from afar, and this section proved to be quite fun as well. You have the whole mountain to move around as well, so if you want to take out 2 enemies at once in a group of 3, all you have to do is run alongside the mountain to a position where you're able to do so, and Captain Price will take care of the other one for you. Or you can just say fuck it and run down guns blazing, and honestly I wish there were more segments like this, or this whole mission went for a little bit longer but in tighter quarters as well, similar to All Gillied Up or One Shot One Kill. But if you're after a similar mission to One Shot One Kill and All Gillied Up from the original game, you'll be disappointed by this. It's still one of the best missions in the game, but it's nah. Is it as good? Nah, meh. Inside a house, you find evidence that they use tunnels to reach a hidden base under the lighthouse that could be used for smuggling. So you push aside a washing machine to find the tunnel, and it's here that Laswell gets flanked and captured, and you lose sight of her because she's far away on a boat. Shepard informs you that he won't be able to help you with the recapture of Laswell. Price gets mad, but Shepard states that he won't be able to stop you guys either if you go alone. This pursues one of the coolest chase scenes in this game. Forget chasing after Hassan, chasing after Laswell is where it's at. Nikolai returns from the Modern Warfare campaign for like 2 seconds, and Newman from The Boys returns in fashion, ready to pop some heads. You start shooting from a helicopter, and when your chopper gets shot down, you hang upside down before cutting yourself loose and hijacking a vehicle. And here is where the driving segments improved drastically. You pretty much have free roam to move wherever on the road that you want. You can lean out to shoot before getting back inside the car before crashing, and you can even jump to other vehicles to hijack them when the damage level is critical on your vehicle. It was fucking spectacular. This section was really good, but you finally make your way to save Laswell. Price starts apologizing about the situation, blaming himself, but Laswell assures Price that she's fine and wait. She was so muddy in the cutscene before, and now she's picture perfect. Continuity, people. Come on, what the Soap, Vargas, Ghost, and Graves are outside a high-profile cartel member's home to track down someone who knows about the locations of the missiles. Soap volunteers to go in alone, and Graves hands him a Shadow's badge, and right before he heads in to talk to the Kingpin, Vargas tells Soap to tell him everything he knows. One of the Las Almas leaders catches his men snorting white snow and gives him a left-right goodnight. You get sat down at a friendly round table and get introduced to a brand new mum character called Valeria, and she's the boss. Damn right she's the boss. Step on me. She asks you questions about the enemies you're up against and what proof you have. Pretty much asking if you were paying attention to the campaign. And I was totally paying attention. After she realizes that you're telling the truth, she spares you and kills the other captive. Then you need to follow Valeria and Diego to another room and then get detained by Alejandro, where he gives you a throwing knife and a mask to sneak around the building to eavesdrop on Valeria talking about the package being in place. So you breach the door and capture her, and now she's in cuffs. It's here Alejandro recognizes Valeria and gets super pissed, saying she was ex-military and they once served together in different squads but the same unit. Alejandro brings up the raid on the son of Arana, and Graves puts together that she killed him to take over. Alejandro's leaves, saying that this changes everything and advises the men not to make a deal with her as it won't end well. Graves asks for the missiles, target, and Hassan. Wait, you dumb motherfucker, you just had Hassan. You just had him, now you want him back. Puta coño. I don't know if I said that right. She says she's able to tell him where the missile is, and when he gets back, she will tell him where Hassan is. Deal. Wait, Alejandro just said not to make deals. And now you're off to a cargo ship where the suspected missile is located. One of the missions they showed in the reveal trailer, and it does not disappoint. The gameplay in this section is legit. When you're on the boat, you feel like you're on a boat. When the boat sways, you slide and sway a little too. And so does crates, and in some areas, crates can come and smack you and kill you. Your movement is slowed, but it's still a hell of a mission through and through. I enjoyed every second of it. It was just cut too short again, and some maps feel a lot less expansive than they do in the original trilogy. You make it to the control room, but Graves is having trouble disarming the controls. Shepard says if you can't disarm, you must detonate. And you're in a quick time event section. I guess that's the best way of describing it, although it's a little bit harder than your usual quick times, but it's not as complex as a puzzle. But you blow it up and head back to your base. However, it's not your base anymore, it seems, as when you head back, Graves says that he likes the base and he's taking it, and he asks for you all to go home. You're relieved of your services. So what I want to know is, How was the car ride back? Like when Graves was in the car with these men, what did they talk about? Did they possibly say that they fancied Valeria and Graves got jealous? Did they just talk like nothing was going on, and when Graves dropped them off, he was like, yeah, now's the right time? Because if I were him, I would have done the classic Shepard from Modern Warfare 2 2009. Just fucking take them out when they least expect it. Imagine how different that classic campaign would have been if Shepard just decided to have the helicopter trip with them, and then when they arrived back at base, he was like, thank you for your service, get fucked. I feel like more betrayal is needed here. So far, Graves is just following orders, and it's not until Alejandro gets physical that a fight breaks out. So here's the deal. If Graves and Shepard are the bad guy, I want to hate them, like I hated Shepard. When Shepard shot Ghost, I was fuming. I still think about it sometimes. That cunt used us like a fleshlight and left us to rot in a puddle of mud. Graves, after all, just says thank you for your orders. Go home, boys. Go home. No, I don't want to fight you. Like, come on. Who's the bad guy? I don't see who the bad guy is yet. But anyway, Soap gets shot and runs away. And Ghost is a ghost. Ugh. And here another pretty cool gameplay mission takes place. You play as a heavily injured Soap talking to Ghost over the walkie-talkie.
Keep your blood in, you'll need every drop.
Thanks for the tip.
Now the game turns into Far Cry. You're left to survive by crafting materials to either create Molotov cocktails or tools to pry open safes or doors. This was done pretty damn well, to be honest. Ghost wants you to meet up with him at the church, however when you make it to him, shit goes down and you guys run to an evac vehicle to get to Alejandro's safe house. And you come across Rudolfo. He asks why Graves turned on you and you both are unsure, but Ghost firmly states that Graves, Shepard and anyone else is considered a hostile from here on out. Rodolfo gives you supplies and a hot rod and head to a prison to locate Alejandro and the rest of Rodolfo's men. This mission was great as well. The part where you use the camera to tell Ghost where to go was perfectly executed, and I normally don't like missions like this, but this was thrilling and fun as fuck. Also, there's an in-game achievement to complete this section in under 4 minutes. You find Alejandro and free his men, then Price comes to save the day. Now that's a fucking legend. The next mission is a very short flashback mission where you're playing as a member from Graves' team, delivering the missiles to their allies to fight the Russians, but they were ambushed by the Russians, ending in your vehicle getting RPG'd. The Russians executed the entire squad and get a hold of the Shadow's comms. Then Russia later gives the missiles to Hassan. Laswell says that Shepard's intentions were good, but the shipments were illegal and off the books. Now, I must say, I didn't want to bring this up, but I didn't want Shepard to actually be the bad guy in this game, because it's already been done. The original was so great because you had absolutely no idea that you were going to be betrayed, but from someone who's already played the original and saw Shepard's actions to cover up the missile in plain sight in front of everyone, this just felt super fucking stupid and anticlimactic. Who's the bad guy? Who the fuck is the bad guy? I don't feel betrayed by anyone, and I don't fear anyone. Oh, and you know what happens after this? You go on a fucking Skype, FaceTime, Discord call with Shepard for Price to bicker with him. Price asks Graves to be stopped, but he's a dog with a bone. Shepard says, okay. So Price says after he goes for Graves, he's coming for Shepard. Pretty cool line, but like, why over MySpace? Price tells Alejandro that we're all going back to retake the base, and this is one of the coolest cutscenes in the game. Price says we're one team. Ghost team, and the table is surrounded by ghost type masks to wear and hide your identity, and Ghost takes off his mask to reveal his face to everyone, but the camera does not let you see it. I really like how this was directed. I love how his squad finally knows what he looks like and can somewhat maybe get closer to him. However, staying true to his hidden identity and hiding it from us is really important to do for the character. They didn't just pull a Master Chief TV show on us to sexify Ghost or some shit. So good job. Props to Infinity Ward. You made this scene all the more powerful. Alejandro informs the squad that him and his troops know the facility facility better than Shadow, so you'll all have the advantage. You'll intercept the base with 2 teams, one using the tunnels and the other standing outside until Price fires on the entry gate and lets them in to fight their way into Graves. One team is finding Graves and the other is finding Valeria. You finally face off against Graves in a tank inside a training ground and blow his shit up. Look, that was anticlimactic. You don't see a body at all. And Price also lost his cigar, apparently. Sad. You find Valeria and find out that she knew about the 3rd missile the whole time and it's located in Chicago. I mean, like, I warned you that she would do this. Hey, that's what I said. But now you're inbound to Chicago and you have execute authority on Hassan. I mean, about fucking time. Could have done this in like 2 or 3 missions already. This mission is both great and shit. It proves for some great moments like skyscraping and some really cheesy moments, but the final death of Hassan was also really anticlimactic, and that's it. That's the end of the game. There's no slow-mo scene, there's no struggle really, but you get a final cutscene where you all drink at a bar. I mean, okay. But it's here that Laswell says that we have bigger fish now and hands you a photo of someone that the Russians are working with. I wonder who it is. Everyone takes a peek, being extra sure to hide it from the camera for an extended period of time before finally revealing that it's Makarov. Could you be any more predictable and disappointing? I'm not disappointed about it being Makarov. I'm disappointed about it being Makarov in 4 years. Overall, there's a lot of things that bugged me with this game. The confusing goose chases with leads to find the missiles with no proof. The stupid choices at the start, especially with Alejandro not being able to cross the border because he has no jurisdiction during a border jumping mission. The terrible and anticlimactic deaths of the bad guys who I didn't feel any emotion toward at all, and massive cliffhangers that just left me thinking this game was half complete. This game truly feels like one massive setup for Modern Warfare 3 that we still have to wait so long for, since they've prolonged their production cycle, and it's not that I don't mind that they're doing that. The better the game, the better the outcome. However, to leave a game asking so many questions and wanting more out of the story and playtime in general is just disappointing. That said, I'm very conflicted on whether this game is awesome or not, because while the story is questionable, there were some really great moments, and the cutscenes and voice acting as a whole is great. The music is phenomenal, but what really shines is the core gameplay and how they were able to expand on it in such a great way. Even though I'm definitely disappointed, I'll definitely return to this game, and I don't want my opinion to change your opinion on how you feel about this game. I did give it an 8 out of 10 in my spoiler-free review. The music, graphics, cutscenes, gameplay, map, and level design were done perfectly. It was just the narrative, which really bums me out, and I can understand if you see this video as shitting on the game, because I'm mainly focusing on the story aspect. However, it's not a shit game, and it's still worth the money, especially if you're just in it for the pew pew. But yeah, that'll be the end of this video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more, or even suggest a game I should review next, as I'm always open to suggestions. Thanks heaps for watching. I hope I was able to inform you or entertain you, and hopefully didn't make anyone too mad with my story summary. Your boy's an honest man, what can I say? Your boy tries to be honest with you. But I'll catch you in the next episode. As always, stay safe, stay sexy, stay humble. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Suck your nipple.